backstabbing and betrayals. That's how our season ended in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. And although we were able to actually secure a really good end of season reward for literally every faction on the board, it got really dicey and we were on the verge of a civil war. So in this Lord of the Rings Rise to War video, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to talk about how does betraying work in this game, and also I'm going to discuss how the heck we almost ended up in this civil war anyways. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and for Lord of the Rings Rise to War, I'm not sponsored. This is a side hustle that I barely spend a fraction of my time doing compared to the time and attention I give to my main channel. You can check that out. Card will be up on the top. I got over 150,000 subscribers, and at the time that I was being accused of being a traitor, a backstabber, a schemer, a manipulator, and pretty much anything nasty you could come up with in faction chat, I was being accused of all that when meanwhile, like, bro, I was streaming to like 4,000 people on my main channel. I didn't give a flying F what was going on in here. Not that I didn't care, but I knew the team had it under control. So there's this weird dynamic where it's like, blame the content creator. And bro, that is so old. I am quite used to that sort of BS scapegoat stuff. But anyways, so while I wasn't actually scheming or manipulating or really doing anything in here, I come back to discover I'm getting betrayed. 3 people were betraying me at the same time, eating up all my tiles, which started this big back and forth. And how did I even start getting attacked? What the heck happened? Let me break it down for you. Welcome to Lord of the Rings Rise to War. You think this is the exception? No, this is the normal experience that every player has. I think the developers need to take a very, very, very serious look at how freaking toxic this is and fix it already. Because I think the in-game systems need to change to encourage better behavior among players. But let's talk about what the heck happened. Now, you may recall that with our allies in Mordor and friends in Erebor, we had basically taken the map. We had created a world in which we get rank 1, 2, 3 for the number of different lands that we owned, and we would own the ring, and hooray, we'd done it. We'd won the season. We got literally the best title that you could get. But before the season ended, the Smash Squad, that's the group I play with, that I helped found, we made a choice to be Care Bears. Bro, let's go back to the Care Bear roots, okay? We got Care Bear roots and Care Bear blood really flowing through our veins here. And we said, let's maximize everybody's rewards, despite the fact that this would really open us up big time to being betrayed and backstabbed. And all that did happen, not in the way that I would have expected. It did happen. Now, let's talk about this for a second. In order to maximize everybody's rewards, we gave literally every faction on the board their capital in 2 regions. You can't accuse the Smash Squad of being greedy. You really can't. I mean, you can, but you're wrong. I'll just tell you, you are. So we gave everybody that stuff back, and there was a simple rule that everybody had to follow. You want your capital in 2 lands? You gotta join our Discord server. I'll have a link in the description. By the way, there's a ton of really useful stuff in there. You gotta join our Discord server, and you gotta, with your leadership, you just gotta talk with us and be in the chat room where we just talk about everybody getting their lands back. It was really, really simple. And if anybody breaks the rules, then everybody else can eat up their lands. Simple stuff. If you break the rules, everybody goes after you. And then everybody else can have their lands back, okay? Now, for whatever reason, Rune didn't join the server. And you may recall in my previous drama videos, which are really ridiculous, but I mean, get out your popcorn, right? There was a fellowship, in fact, several fellowships within our faction that split off and went their own way. Without getting into and rehashing all the drama for why that happened, we got civility rules, is all I'm gonna say about that. Without getting into why that had happened, they were working a weird angle with Rune, encouraging them to go rogue and do all these things that were against the charter of giving everybody their lands. So that included people from our own faction, okay, we're Dark Blue, we're Gondor, okay, attacking Mordor, who was one of our very first allies. So now we have people in Gondor, our own faction, but different fellowships, attacking Mordor and positioning for Rune to get more lands than they should, and this whole weirdness going on. Okay, now again, this has a peaceful ending and a fine ending. But before we get to that fine ending, we start to defend Mordor because they're being attacked by Rune. They're being attacked by freaking fellowships from Gondor, which is, again, that's my faction. Why are they doing that? So they're off doing that. So we have to ultimately betray our own faction to get them under control, to stop them from attacking our allies, which was really, really problematic. Now, this is where things go sideways, because they're like, what a grand betrayal. You have betrayed us, and so we're going to betray all your time. And so they start to, like, do this declare war thing on us, which was like, bro, that's weird, because we didn't declare war on you. We just trying to protect our allies. We are honestly just honoring the charter of everybody getting their lands, bro. We just being Care Bears, and you're coming and betraying all our ties. Again, I was busy playing, you know, my other game, because this season was wrapped up over here. And, like, I'm getting betrayed by 3 people at once here. So I got to fight back. And I ended up with more tiles than I had at the start. And it doesn't matter because the season was about to end anyways. And finally, I reach out to the leader of this other group and I'm like, bro, this is really dumb. He's like, yeah, this is really dumb. And so we worked through, despite the fact that I was this grand villain, put up on this pedestal of evilness and terribleness and horribleness that was trash talk constantly in faction chat as this disgusting human who doesn't deserve the air he breathes. I mean, it's just gross. Despite all of that, I have this very civil conversation with the leader of this other group, and it's just like, bro, let's just end all this, yeah? And he was like, yeah. And so we sorted out and figure out what needs to be said and who's got to talk to who. And people kept on betraying each other because it just got out of hand. But, like, bro, if it had been a civil war, you'd have known, because, like, bro, we had a lot of players. And the majority of them weren't getting involved at all. So, all that to say, that finally we did get to a peaceful resolution, despite the fact that, like, I don't know, man, if I just go into faction chat right now, there's probably, yep, there's, like, betrayals all over the place, man. It's just freaking chaos. But maybe they realized I'm not this grand villain that they were making me out to be. And I don't think anybody here really is a grand villain. I genuinely think the in-game systems need desperate evaluation for making sure that you actually can play with the communities you want to play with and avoid the communities you freaking don't. My 2 cents here on that being hyper critical to the continued existence of the game, in my opinion. Because, brah, that is toxic. But let's say you find yourself in a civil war or a betrayal fest. What can you do? The way the betrayal works is that you ultimately go and you have to first select the player from their profile, and then you need to smash that betray button. Now, I'm not going to do it, because if I do that, I'm going to be marked as a hate lord and forever damned to hell by this other group. So I ain't doing anything over here, okay? But if you were to push that betray button, it would flash up in the screen I was showing you before, faction chat, and there'd be a little icon up in the left showing you who you were betraying and who has betrayed you. You can only betray one person at a time per hour, which means then all of their tiles will turn red and you can attack them. A few tips if you find yourself in this situation, which I did, because they came to sort of my honeypot of tiles over here. And I mean, I was down like 40 plus tiles at one point before I started just smashing back to start getting back my tiles. First of all, the most important thing in this situation is lots of forts. Forts are really crucial because if you lose your fort, you can't defend the land. And forts take time to build, so you got to build them when the enemy's sleeping, ideally. Okay? That's one thing. But another thing is that if you leave around 200 tiles, these can be turned into an alliance fortress. And you cannot betray an alliance fortress, and at that point, you are screwed. You're straight screwed, because there's literally nothing you can do. The enemy can gather there and do whatever they want to do. And at one point, one of the alliances literally had 2 alliance fortresses outside my city. And it's like, guys, I'm minding my own business. I'm not some grand villain here. I'm barely playing this game right now. Like, what are you doing to me here? Right? It was really, honestly, pretty unpleasant in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's always unpleasant when people are just rude to you and accuse you of things that you haven't done. But anyways, without getting into all that, sometimes you just gotta, like, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like I took the mature route. I initiated the conversation with the leader of I initiated it with the other group to say, would you like to end this? I think we should. Balls in your court. And he responded, and that's how it started. That's how it started, that we started sorting this out. So, whatever, man. It is what it is. We got our end of season rewards. And for those of you wondering what those end of season rewards are, they ain't worth it. And by all that to say, like, I just really think the game needs to take a look at these, like, weird dynamics between humans, that the game systems create. I mean, the whole point is that there's this ring, and it's about betrayals and all this stuff. And you do anything you can to get the ring, and it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know. There should be some higher standard. There should be something, because of the ephemeral nature of these communities, that they form and they crash, and they form and they crash. You break them down and you start anew. That just leads to all this toxicity. But here's the rewards. And theoretically, this blazing tongue weapon from Season 2 does have some cool modifiers if you get lucky. And you're using, for example, Aragorn, King of Men, or regular Aragorn, Tier 2, because when you unlock him at high enough loyalty, you actually can pick a weapon that, or you can equip gear that like anybody could equip. But otherwise, it's sort of weird. You can only have Undead and Maiar that actually can equip this. So like Gandalf, if you're running a might build on Gandalf, that's a thing. And I don't know, a Witch King, I guess, is the other undead commander you might consider. So I'm honestly, like, I don't know what reward to take, but I have 1,800 currency, which you can see here. And the reason I have so much currency is because I didn't actually claim all of the rewards last season, because I knew, I hoped anyways, that they would carry over, and they did. And I mention all of that because I probably will pick one thing here, and rather than get this other stuff that you could buy with gems, I'm going to wait till the next time that this shop opens up, and hopefully I have enough currency to get 2 rewards, right? Like, hold on to this currency is what I'm trying to say until it ultimately changes, and then maybe the story will be different. So, I don't know, man. Lord of the Rings, Rise to War, Season 2. It's a freaking wrap, man. Season 3 is going to begin very soon. In fact, this video may very well go live after I have started Season 3, and I may stream some of that. And we are moving out of roleplay because we were just looking to get away from some of the personalities that were in roleplay with us. And we also wanted to create a world in which some of the folks that had gone evil could play with us, and that has happened. And I'm extremely happy with the over 300 players that we now have assembled into the Smash Squad. And if you'd like to join us in this new season, the link will be down below in the description. You can join us if you'd like, and it's going to be a really good time. And it's not about winning. It's just about having great community. And culture is our number one above all else, which is why it's so funny and weird, all these accusations of us being hyper toxic, man. But whatever, it is what it is. We are where we are, and we're moving on to Season 3, baby. If you enjoyed this video about Lord of the Rings Rise to War, or you have an experience about, I don't know, man, like what's going on with betrayals and toxicity, I mean, pretty much every chat I've been in, almost every server feels like that their server is toxic. So the true power of a imaginary ring in a mobile game is insurmountable. But hopefully together in Season 3, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm hopeful for that. I'm really looking for a change of pace. We'll see. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies, and I hope that you are not in a civil war. It's honestly just, the betrayal thing is just not very fun.